Hi pals, so somehow I've swapped consciousness with my real self. So real me is in Animal Crossing, while villager me is doing something in the real world. Anyway, I don't know how I got in here, and I don't know how I'm supposed to get out. Apparently I'm supposed to be doing this interview, so I'm just rolling with it until I can find a way out, but I don't even know if I can at all. To be fair, of all the games to get trapped in, this one is nowhere near the worst, so I'm not complaining too much. And besides, I kind of stopped playing frequently for a while, so it's nice to be back on the island.
Okay, we're all set.
Oh, gotta go.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Gian, and I'm the resident representative here on Isla Buena. I've been living here for, I guess almost a year now. I was one of the first residents to move in, actually, and this is my first time playing living on an island, I mean. I had a short stint running a campsite back in 2017, but I didn't stick with it for very long.
How did you feel when you first moved here?
Skeptical, I guess? I was kind of worried that island life would be limiting. Maybe my time at the campsite left me a little worried, but when I arrived, I found it to be quite the opposite. There was so much to do, and I had so many ideas for how I could make Isla Buena a beautiful place to live.
What were some of the first things you did when you arrived to the island?
I just wanted to soak in everything the island had to offer. I caught a lot of bugs and fish, cleaned up weeds, that sort of stuff. And paying Tom Nook exorbitant amounts of money. Also, I built a lot of furniture and tools. Granted, it got a little annoying to build things one by one, but I didn't mind too much. But I feel like if I can fit a spider crab in my pocket, I can make more than one piece of fish bait at a time. Anyway, before long, others started coming to the island. Tom Nook was kind enough to provide us with Nook phones, and they really come in handy. It's so convenient to just build up Nook miles by doing stuff around the island, and they have a bunch of other features too, like a camera, the Critterpedia, a list of all the DIY recipes you've collected. I've kind of strayed away from the initial question, haven't I?
Oh, that's okay. How about you give us a tour?
Sure, I'd be happy to. This is the Resident Services building, where Tom Nook and Isabel are hard at work keeping the island running smoothly. Now that I think about it, I don't totally know what they do, but with their help, Isla Buena was able to get a 5-star rating, so clearly they know what they're doing. Oh, and here's where you can access the Nook Stop, which is great for exchanging Nook miles for things, shopping, and depositing or withdrawing money from the bank. Very convenient. Right over here we have the shopping district. Let's take a look at all the stores. So the first store is Nook's Cranny, where Timmy and Tommy work. They sell a lot of really cool stuff and do a pretty good job of running their business. Just between you and me, they have no idea how much to pay for items you sell them. Once I went in there with the literal Mona Lisa, and they offered me barely over 1,000 bells. And then another time I went in there with a random tarantula I caught outside, and they offered me 8,000. I don't have the heart to tell them, so I recommend just rolling with it. Here we have the Able Sisters. If you're looking for clothing, this is the place to go. I don't come by super often. I pretty much wear the same few outfits, but it's always nice to come by for a chat with Sable and Mabel. Now that Sable has gotten to know me better, they're both super friendly, and it's always worth a visit. Just to the left of Resident Services, we have the museum. The museum is curated by Blathers, and he's worked really hard to get the museum looking as nice as it does. My sisters and I spent a lot of time trying to fill up the museum. All we're missing now is some of the art. Some of the other villagers have tried to help us out, but they're not very good at catching things. It's the thought that counts. I also have to commend Blathers for taking care of all the critters that live here, especially the insects. He has a horrible fear of bugs, and yet he knows all about them and is willing to take great care of them. Now that's dedication. Up next is the airport, Dodo Airlines. Orville and Wilbur run things over here. Don't let the fact that they're dodos concern you. They certainly know how to fly. Orville handles things in the airport itself, like figuring out how to get you to your destination or opening the gate for visitors. He's usually working at his computer. Look at him typing away. Somehow. Wilbur is the one who flies you wherever you want to go. If you go on a Mystery Island tour, he'll stick around until you're ready to leave, and even bring some tools for you in case something breaks. Always good to come prepared. Speaking of Mystery Island tours, that's what Nook Miles tickets are for. If you take one to the airport, you'll be flown out to a random small island full of resources and tons of critters to catch. It's a great investment if you need to fill out your Critterpedia, need to chop some wood, or just want to completely destroy a local ecosystem. Everything else before the river is the neighborhood. This is where all the islanders spend most of their time. We also have others who come to the island every so often. You already saw Kix at the beginning, but there's also Gulliver, or Gullivar, Flick, KK Slider, you get the gist. It's always nice to see them. I've left the rest of the island pretty uninhabited. It's almost a nature trail of sorts. The only area that's not part of the nature trail is this little section where we get all our power. And of course the campsite, which gets the occasional villager here and there. But the rest of the island harbors a lot of trees and flowers. I didn't want to disrupt the natural beauty of Isla Buena too much.
Now that it's been a year, what do you like to do on the island?
In all honesty, I've been pretty busy, and I don't really get the chance to explore the island nearly as much as I used to. It's not that it got boring or anything. Every time I come back I have a great time. It's just I have other priorities, I guess. But I've been hanging out on Isla Buena a little bit more often recently, and I actually spend a lot of time online now. The online Animal Crossing community is pretty great.
What do you mean by Animal Crossing community?
Oh, nothing. But there's 2 websites I've used in the past. One is turnip.exchange, which is super helpful for finding people with good turnip prices. All you have to do is take a look at the islands that are hosting, and if you have a bunch of turnips, bring them over. Usually they'll ask for some sort of fee, but it's never been anything ridiculous for me. The other website, which I use way more, is Nook. It's a place where you can trade items, and I found it super helpful. There were some items I had trouble finding for my island, so I'd find people there to trade with. For the most part, everyone on these websites are super friendly and just looking to help each other out. I always love flying over to someone's island and having a wholesome interaction with them. Oh, I haven't even talked about spending time with my friends in real life.
Real life?
I meant the friends I met earlier in life, so like put the E and the A before the RL and then add an I and an E and an R, you know? But yeah, you can also fly to other people's islands, and they can fly to yours. I love all of my fellow islanders here, don't get me wrong, but they aren't always the best conversationalists. I have some wonderful memories of spending time with my friends from other islands, especially from early on. We'd visit each other all the time as our islands were being built. These are some of my fondest memories of my time since moving to Isla Buena, and I hope I'll still be able to visit them every so often.
Well, I think that wraps up everything we wanted to cover. Thanks so much for being a part of this interview.
Oh, not a problem at all. Looks like I got through that interview without them suspecting too much. I still don't know how to get out of here. Well, I have some stuff I wanted to sell to Timmy and Tommy before it gets too late. I still have that tarantula in my storage. I should get rid of it. I dropped the tarantula. No, Fleek, get out of the way! I didn't expect to enjoy New Horizons as much as I did. It's the first time in a long time I've really gotten into a sim game. The game isn't perfect, it has some internet connectivity issues here and there, and it can use some quality of life changes to make things better, but all in all, the game is just a delight. Every time I pick it up, I end up playing for longer than I expect to. It's just the perfect game to play whenever I need to wind down after a long day or just need some time to relax. Not to mention, it sort of came out at the perfect time. It's not really easy to meet up with friends like it used to be. Animal Crossing served as a way to bridge that gap, and I still look forward to hanging out with my friends on their islands, even if it isn't as often as it used to be. Thanks for all the good memories, friends.